I'm William Shatner. I've done a lot of things in my career, but this takes the cake. This is so cool. You, Joseph, today, it's all about you. You won the internet. Congratulations. It's exciting. It makes me want to celebrate. Makes me want to get up out of this chair. Makes me want to sing. Makes me want to dance. Makes me want to shout. Kick my heels up. Throw my hands up. Toss my head back. No, really, people should be shouting your name in the street.
Come on now. Sing that name.
Sing that song.
Joseph,
Sing it out loud.
Joseph.
I want to celebrate. Put it up in lights.
The internet belongs to you.
See, no one else deserves to be celebrated like you because you are the best.
Joseph Jaffe is not famous. Me, Tom Arnold, I am very famous. I absolutely because it's very true. Like, I hadn't freaking heard of you until I sitting on a Friday night. This is how bad my life is. Listen, fucker, good luck. Good luck with your rebranding. Like anybody knew what the name was before. What was the name? Okay, who gives a shit? That's a good name because it's got your name in it. You can pretend you're humble. You say, I'm not famous. And, which you aren't. So you're just, I mean, anyway, but I hope you get famous doing this. Good luck to you.
I just want you to know that I practiced this word about 20 times to make sure that I did not mispronounce it.
I have a question. Has anyone ever said with all due respect and then not followed up with a zinger?
His side of the bed. If I come in and I'm on the other side, he will move it. Yeah, that's it.
Which side do you like? With all due respect, you make a good point.
Cheery Oreos! Toasted Oreos!
Mute. He's muted.
I love what he's saying. He doesn't need sounds.
You're so small, squishing your head, Joseph.
You can.
Do it with me, Joe.
With all due respect, you really do look handsome, Bruce. Cheery Oreos! Toasted Oreos!
Look at you. You are insane.
How did I do that?
You're
How
insane.
did I do that? You just made the intro reel. Yes, you did.
Yeah, that is the longest intro of any longest running daily streaming talk show since 2020. But it's all part of the whole idea that in the streaming era, in the streaming world, you are in control. So if you are watching live, you can start a little bit late. You can pull up a chair. You can kick off your shoes. You can get yourself an adult beverage. I don't care if it's 1 p.m. Eastern because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Oftentimes it's 5 o'clock wherever I am, even if it is 8 a.m. in the morning. I think they have programs for that. Glenn is here. He says, memories. Don't make me sing memories. I won't. Not this time. Because we have a comedian. We have a magician. We have a conspiracy theorist. We have McQueen. We have, and I have no idea why I can't get the white font to work. Isaiah McCall. He is a comedian. He is an author. He's a blogger. I must have tried about 17 different combinations, and I will not give up yet, but he is in the studio with me, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. Tomorrow, of course, though, is NFT Fridays, and I actually pre-recorded an interview with Dave and Valerie, David and Valeria, or Vale as he calls his daughter. She's 15 now. She was 14 when she decided to draw a little PFP, 10,000 PFP collection that minted out. Girlies NFT is considered to be one of the top 10 woman-centered or woman-related projects on the crypto nets. And it's a really great interview. Brian says, looking forward to a great show. He must be referring to today and tomorrow. But wait, there's more because Dave and Valerie very kindly have donated one of their girlies NFT from the sold out collection. It is available on OpenSea. Well, not this one, because right now the floor price is 0.11 ETH, and you can get it for free by just following these instructions. Subscribe to the show's channel on YouTube. Paste your YouTube username in the show's Discord. Join Girlies NFT Discord. Follow Jaffe Juice and Girlies NFT on Twitter. This item is not valid in Oklahoma. No, I'm only saying that because that's where Isaiah is right now. But if you really want to get instructions, you will be able to this entire week, all the way through next Friday, when I will do the draw live on the show, when non-fungible people are in the house. And all you have to do basically is just show me that you're subscribed to the show. I mean, is that too much to ask? And follow my guests, and the rest, my friends, hopefully will be wonderful, wonderful history. Not ancient history, but wonderful history for you. Just find the giveaways channel in my Discord. And remember, I am not famous. The show is not famous, which is exactly why my Discord is not famous, neither or either. bit.ly/not famous Discord. And that is how you can participate. Now, Isaiah is a crypto investor. He is a crypto enthusiast. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about creator coins. I wonder if he's heard of the rally, of rally.io. Isaiah, I know you're watching in the green room right now. I think we need to get you on Rally if you are interested. But this is where my coin is sitting right now. It's sitting at just under $10. When I got the coin, it was about 34 cents. And the coin really represents the Jaffe economy. It represents the Jaffe ecosystem. It represents the Jaffe community. And what I really love about this idea of creator coins so much is the fact that people can buy the coin and hold the coin, and I win, and they win, and everybody wins. It truly is a rising tide floats all boats. It's so great to be able to say, you know, to not say, send me coin. I don't care, tipping, whatever. I don't need coin. I need you to want to need coin. But the real interesting statistic is this one, which is that when you look at the price of the Jaffe coin relative to Rally, you just see this beautiful line that continues to move in the right direction, in the top right direction as well. And I'm really proud of how this has been, for me, a slow and steady wins the race. Now, again, as I said, not only do I not need you to buy coin, not only do I not need you to hold coin, not only do I not need you to buy coin and give coin to me, I give coin to you every single episode of the show. So the QR code that you see up there right now will be live for the next 52 minutes. It is only live when the show is live. This is another way that I recognize and reward live viewers, active participants in the streaming era. All you have to do is shine your smartphone, otherwise it's not smart, on that QR code, follow the instructions, and you'll get yourself a little bit of Jaffe coin. And again, it is my way of saying thank you for tuning in live. But let's move on with the show, and let's get to the seated soliloquy. And the seated soliloquy today is called Sanguine. Why is it called Sanguine? Because this is something that I picked up from Isaiah, and I love the fact that after 330 plus or whatever number he is, let me check, he's 339. I learned something new. There's a new word. There is a new idea. And by the way, Glenn just said, I'm rich, Joseph, thanks. So he just got himself, there was a time Glenn used to send coin to me. Now he just sits back in his self-driving car, watches the show for free, receives the coin I sent him. What an ungrateful SOB he is. I'm just kidding, Glenn. It is great to have you cashing in. Just tell me that you bought your Tesla on Jaffe coin. That would make me very happy. And I'd know that you were a liar. But let's talk about sanguine. Now, this is not sangria, and it's not a form of wine. I actually had to look up the meaning. I kind of knew what it was, but you know, in this new world we're living in the new normal, I just feel like, as the old saying goes, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. So if I don't know something, I'm going to say I don't know. I'm not going to try and pretend that I'm smart or smarter or the smartest person in the room, even if I'm the only person in the room. So I looked up sanguine, and there are a couple of definitions of it. First of all, Isaiah would tell you that he would say basically it's optimistic but realistic. I guess that's his way of looking at what it is to be sanguine. Sanguine, by definition, from what I read, is this idea of being optimistic during tough times, during challenging times, and man, are these times challenging at the moment. This idea of making lemonade from lemons. What if all around us is nothing but lemons? How do we stay upbeat? How do we stay optimistic? You know, this show is about hope, positivity, and optimism. How do we stay? How do we deliver? How do I deliver hope, positivity, and optimism to you when I'm not feeling hopeful, when I'm not feeling positive, when I'm not feeling optimistic? And the answer is, well, there's no answer. It's not this is, as I was saying to Isaiah earlier, I'm not the Wizard of Oz, the small, crooked, bald white man behind the velvet curtain at all. But I have heard things in my life that I can share with you. Number one, I once heard that the true definition of an optimist is not the glass half full versus glass half empty comparison. It is when the glass is empty and even cracked and broken, you have the faith that one day it will be restored. One day the glass will be repaired. One day the glass will not only be half full, it will be completely full and overflowing. I love that idea of thinking about, for me, it's almost a pragmatism. This idea of we keep on soldiering on, we keep on moving forward. No matter what life throws at us, we just keep on moving. And the beauty of it is, whether this is the definition of being sanguine or not, or sanguinity or not, is that we're not alone in the Web3 world, in a world of community, in a world where I'm a host, I have guests, you are viewers, regular viewers, where we are connecting in Discord, whatever the case may be. We're not alone if we choose not to be alone. So maybe even when there are a lot of lemons, we can find the ability to turn it into lemonade, even if that is anticipated in the future. And with that, it is now time to move forward into the future, and for me to introduce Isaiah McCall. Short and sweet, Isaiah McCall is a NYC comedian, New York City, even though he's not there right now. He's an author, he's a former ultra runner. He runs a blog called Yard Couch on Medium, designed to make people laugh, learn about money, politics, and conspiracies. Let's find out if he has a good conspiracy theory for us. Isaiah, welcome to the show.
Hey, Joseph, how you doing?
I'm good. I was intrigued. Tell me a good conspiracy theory that isn't going to get me shadow banned on YouTube.
That's the problem, isn't it? Well, it's funny you went over sanguine so much, because I think even the word conspiracy is one that you have to kind of carefully examine. It just means, just a group of people conspiring with each other. I think we all do that, in our own communities. So it would be kind of, absurd not to believe that gets done in like higher levels of the government. But I won't throw out anything that's crazy that'll get you deplatformed or anything like that. I'm more interested just in the ones that aren't like public information per se. There's an operation by the CIA called MK Ultra, for instance, where they were trying to play with mind control, and they were trying to figure out if they could mind control people and if they could get them to subtly do things. And this is like not well known to the American public, but it's published, it's out there. The CIA has admitted it. And one of the people that was responsible for it was committed suicide out a window in New York City. And later, when examiners looked at the body, they found, actually, this guy, had a few tamperings to him. So there's always something that's just odd about all these things. And, people can look into it as much as they want, type in MK Ultra. People even thought the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, was he was in Harvard and they were playing around with mind control experiments. So, yeah. Put on the, I forget the show that always has the,
Yeah, it sounds like the Twilight Zone.
It's not the Twilight Zone. I'm forgetting what it is. It was stuff I used to watch all the time as a kid. But
it would be like Isaiah McCall stepped into an interview on a show called Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous, but he had no idea he was on the hot seat in the Twilight Zone.
I hate to be gunning so hard, literally just like starting off in the show. It's like I'm decompartmentalizing, like read all about it, before they get to me.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for shadow banning this show after I've spent 2 years trying to break out of calling it Corona TV. So thank you very much for that. I will never invite you back.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I like to research, just information that isn't widely available to the American public and say, hey, we know about this, so what isn't going on that we don't know about? And that you can only just estimate, and that's when you get into real tinfoil hat territory.
Wow. Look, I did not watch the State of the Union because I was really, really deep into this. I'm behind in my episodes of The Bachelor. But what I will say is I saw a couple of members of Congress on the red side. I don't know what they were doing, performing, anticing. Is it possible that they are being mind controlled right now to act like idiots? Can we get people to act like idiots? Is that mind control?
I think people can do that all themselves very easily. What I will say, though, which you can look into this too, is that you find that these organizations do spy on each other to see what's going on. So like the CIA apparently spies on the Senate committee to make sure, hey, what are they talking about? And they spy. So it just seems like there's no trust within our government, for these different groups. It's like, I like to think of the CIA and the FBI as like the mafia arm of the government. Like, hey, you need us to do the stuff you don't want people to talk about, we'll go do it. So it's just a lot of smoke and mirrors everywhere.
I'm telling you. Well, let's move to something a little bit more meaty, if it can even be said, which is today is Nash. I mean, listen. It just flowed off the tongue. National Cold Cuts Day. So, Isaiah, how are you celebrating National Cold Cuts Day?
Oh boy. Well, I do love to cook, but like I tell everyone, I'm way too lazy to do it. So most of the time my fridge is just stocked up with bread, ham, cheese, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And that's pretty much what I run on entirely. So I'd say every day is National Cold Cut Day for me.
Well, also the National Cold Cuts Association of America, they salute you. Now we're gonna. I mean, the world is so crazy. The world is so serious right now. We really do need to be. I probably even mispronounce it because you said sanguine. It sounded so much more intellectual and intelligent than sanguine. Maybe because I know what's on my brain. But before we get into the serious stuff. Let's stay a little bit on the more fun stuff, which is fun facts about you. Because as you return to New York City and as you continue to, no doubt, I'm going to make the prediction now. CNN Plus, HBO. Just don't forget the little people. Let's find out a little bit about you. So here was the first fun fact that we found about you, which is that you once ran 30 miles straight in under 4 hours. Now, I was trying to do the math. That is freaking fast.
Yeah, it was a lot of work that went into that. It was the first time in my life I found out what you can do if you just dedicate to one thing and then just keep going on that one thing. It's like, wow, you really will impress yourself if you just say, no matter what it is, you can really accomplish a lot. So I basically was just running every single day. I was doing it for the Army, but ultimately I ended up not going. But I was just running every day, sprinting. And then after a while, I just said, you know what, let me see how far I can go. So I did 20, then I did another 20. I said, let's run from New Jersey to Coney Island. And so I ran from my house in New Jersey all the way to Coney Island in Brooklyn and dove into the ocean. Had a bunch of friends cheering me on the whole way. No marathon.
That's really fast, because I was trying to work out, you run the New York Marathon, right? That's 21 miles. Is it 26 miles, right?
Yes.
That's 26.2. Geez,
Yeah.
am I out of shape? I ran 2.5 miles this morning on the treadmill. So 30 miles under 4 hours. I mean, it's a little bit more than a marathon. Have you run a marathon before?
No, I haven't. My dad, my grandmother, who's 80 years old, has done it. I just only have done these long distance runs on myself. And I was just like, well, someone told me, they said, hey, anything above 26 is like ultra territory. So I was like, oh, sweet. I had a book coming out, and I was like, I'll say I'm like an ultra, but I haven't technically run one, but I have ran more than 26.2, which counts for it. So.
All right, so you have to niche down now to a marathon, a half marathon. It's like it's like, you know what? Skip the fun runs, the turkey trots, the half marathons. I'm just going straight to ultra. Well, listen, when you're not running ultras, here's another thing we found out about you, which is you are used to pulling rabbits out of a hat. You used to be a magician. Now you're a comedian. If you thought that you were going to get away with me not asking you to do a magic trick, you, my friend, are incorrect.
Well, I haven't done, like I said, I said before the show when we were talking, I said, I haven't done magic in so long. And it's been maybe years at this point, but I recently had to do one last week when I was on a date. I just was a perfect opportunity. So I made my credit card disappear. I told her, she's like, do you want me to pay for the meal? And I said, oh, you know what? And I made the credit card disappear. I was like, hey, you can do whatever you want. But so it was worked out very well. It's charming. But the best I can come up with is literally on the fly. I told you I don't know anything. I'll try this out. It's impossible I'll try. Let's see. So I'll take the cap here. I'll put it in this hand. And then I don't know if it went to the I don't know where it is. Did that pick up all right? I'm trying to see.
Yeah. No. I mean, what would really be amazing if suddenly I did this and I took it out. We should have rehearsed it in advance.
Well, I can't make it just... it's on the other hand. I couldn't do it. See, I told you I'm not practiced. David Copperfield is going to revoke my my magic license.
Yeah, but you know what I liked about that is actually, when I do this segment, there's always something I find so interesting from a conversational standpoint. And for you, I think there's this idea of combining comedy and magic, taking two crafts or two art forms and being able to put them together. And I mean, in your bit with the date, you can tell us afterwards whether you got a second date or not. But this idea of making the credit card disappear and having that be part of I guess I'm not paying, is the magic, is a different kind of magic. So, as a blogger, as a writer, as a comedian, as a magician, as a runner, how have you in your life, when you look at your life right now, combined all of these passions and purposes and skills to form, I guess we could call him McQueen?
The perfect shirt for this kind of occasion. But yeah, I would say I think I had a fear of idiosyncrasy when I was a kid, just being different and being out there. And I still kind of have that fear because, the more people you meet, you're just like, oh, well, you get scared that if the path you're going on, if you're not fully committed, it might not work out. But for me, I think now I'm just trying to combine the things that I love and mix it with just, commitment, if that makes sense. Because for a while, when I was doing a lot of those things, I felt like I was becoming a grifter, which I think a lot of people who are creative, who have a lot of different things they're good at, they have a danger of becoming. And so now I've come to realize that you take all those things and you pour them into the one or two things that you really feel like, gives you meaning or feels like a spiritual kind of experience. Most people, whatever they find, if you pay attention, you could say, wow, when I do this thing, it might not be great every single day, but when I do it and I have a good time at it, it feels like this is the thing for me, So for me, it's comedy and writing.
There's a lot in there, and it was actually your headline, which we'll get to soon, that caught my eye and made me reach out to you. But it was interesting when you said the things that you love, right? Which is love what you do. And then the ability to, and then the question is, how do you make money from it? And your answer, which is very similar to my own outlook, I say basically love what you do, be true to yourself, and stay the course. And you spoke about commitment, which in a way is a part of endurance. It's a part of being an ultra committer, if you will.
Yes.
Being able to say, I love this and I'm not going to give up and I'm going to keep going. And no matter what happens, this is kind of my path. And I think just anyone who can live that true sense of their self is a very rich person.
Yeah, I would say exactly. You're right on the money. It's finding what you really want to do in terms of work, which will give you a lot of meaning, and then what will be like habits and hobbies that you might be good at guitar, but it might be just, let me just play it on the side. I don't want to have to commit to this thing. And that was the thing that I was really scared of most when I was finding, what I wanted to do in life. I was like, is running, because right now running is just, now it's a hobby. It's not, I don't want to be a ultra marathon world runner. And you have to, come to terms with that kind of thing.
Well, it's so funny, again, this is like a little bit of a nice little game of intellectual tennis. But the idea, I mean, I once heard this idea that, for example, I was a keynote speaker before all of this craziness happened. And I went to like a training program once, and they said, if you treat your speaking business like a hobby, you'll be paid like it's a hobby. But if you treat it like a business, you'll be paid like it's a business. So that was just a thought that popped into my mind. But not everybody has the talent to be able to take something that might, for example, as a runner, you could be the best runner in the world, or maybe not the best runner, but you could be certainly in the top 1%. And you're going to be running to Western Union because you're not going to make money from it. So I guess so how do you take something like writing, for example, and determine that it isn't a habit or a hobby, that this is quite frankly your calling, your life, your purpose, and therefore your career?
It's very tough. Throughout everything you were saying, I came to mind with one great book. I'm not sure if you brought up in the podcast. It's pretty popular. The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Just talks about mostly just you're going to have hard days with anything you do, running or any kind of job you do. But the important part of it is just removing, like you would do with any work, it's kind of just removing the capacity to have extreme emotions with it. So when I started, having bad days with writing or nobody was reciprocating, I would just say, what, it just felt like I still want to do it tomorrow. I'm not going to have these extreme kind of capricious, like bipolar, like emotions with it. So I realized with just any kind of work, if you have to realize that feeling of, hey, this gives me a lot of meaning. And then two, it comes down to, all right, now on the crappy days when you do it after a while, after you're committed for a long time, can you be able to remove the extreme emotions of, I'm, the worst at this, I'm the best at it, and just try to just push through and just try to see it through. And I think for writing it really, I started to connect the dots, and I think that was the first time really it happened.
Or maybe the problem is that you are a misunderstood genius.
Yeah, I love to have a little sarcasm and on my like all the time, all over my blog.
But so as opposed to a stable genius, I suppose. Now, I want to go back to your blog, or at least the fact that you've moved to Substack. And you actually wrote and you said, why I'm moving to Substack now. I think one of the things that's so interesting, I've been thinking about it a lot. And the difference for me, one of the biggest differences between Web 2 and Web 3 is the fact that, Web 2 for me now is the enemy. In a Web 2 world, the things that we did, this show, your blogging, we couldn't monetize because everyone demanded what we did for free. Everybody expected it to be free. Content was free. But in Web 3, there's almost this shared belief that we should be paying for, it's not even paying, but co-owning. You know what I mean? It's not payment anymore. It's just this idea of co-ownership in something that is shared where everybody can benefit. What was your thinking in terms of making this move to Substack?
Well, I know you even brought up Rally earlier, which I was a little bit familiar with working at one of my jobs as a cryptocurrency writer. And yeah, it is. I think it is important for people to at least have the option for empowerment. I think a lot of people, a lot of crypto, I would say, like zealot types, they think, oh, crypto is just going to replace everything. Even Bitcoin Standard makes somewhat of that kind of the book. The Bitcoin Standard makes that assertion, but I more see that I think people just need an option, and I think now we have so many options for people to, create whatever they want to create, and I make a joke with my sister. She's an NFT artist actually. And we say it all the time where we're like, it's kind of a joke if you can't find a way to make money in America. There's so many options. It really is just, you got to just have an honest conversation with yourself. So I think there's so many things out there. Substack was just, it's one that I saw people were able to, I think it has more, I would say, contentious opinions on than Medium does, because Medium has a series of curators in case anybody doesn't know how that works. So nothing against them, but it's just, I know it's a lot more of a centralized kind of experience as compared to Substack.
So you just said something very provocative and even evocative. You said it's a joke if you can't make money in America. What I want to do with that for a second is I want to pause and by the way, a little shout out to my mom who's watching, who is she's probably thinking if her son, she hopes her son is making money in America, otherwise he's a joke. But it's Thursday, and on Thursday our correspondent is, what I'm trying to build here is the Daily Show for business, Isaiah. So my correspondent, it's not Carell, it's not Colbert, it's Tom Morris, who is a previous guest, who is a philosopher, double PhD. He describes himself as the world's happiest public philosopher. So there's a little bit of sanguine coming into it. But today's contribution is called Worry. I never watch these when they come in. I watched with you for the first time. And then I think we'll try and connect the dots, which is, what do you do in America, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a sole proprietor, whether you're, no longer working in the corporate world, whether you're not in New York City anymore and hoping to return. How do you get back to a point where truly anyone can make money in America? So, Tom, don't let me down.
Hey, everybody. I was getting ready to talk to a big corporate group the next day. It'd be people from all over filling a huge auditorium. It was the night before. We were doing a sound check, AV check. The CEO of the company was running around everywhere, worried about everything. And I could tell he was in a state of high anxiety. So I walked up to him and I said, well, I'm the one thing you don't have to worry about for tomorrow. And he looked at me with a shocked expression on his face and said, whenever anybody says that, it really makes me worry. Think about worry for a second. What does it accomplish? Some people say, well, worry makes you pay more attention. Well, pay more attention anyway. Other people say worry helps you focus. Well, why not focus anyway? Worry makes you bring people together and make sure that things go right. Well, bring people together anywhere. Make sure things go right. The Stoics had some good advice about this. They said, don't worry about what you can't control. Focus on what you can control. Put your energy and your emotions and your attitudes there. And even things you can't control, there's a zone of things you can at least potentially influence. Think about those things too. But if you start to worry, ask yourself, what's this adding to the situation that I couldn't have anyway? Worry is not a tool. It's an impediment to using the best tools we have. So whatever you're doing right now, don't worry. Just take the proper actions. Things are going to turn out just fine.
That's why he's a philosopher and I'm a talk show host.
Well, there's no money in philosophy, but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, the Stoics said something. He said, the Stoics. And I was like, ah, there we go. I was like, put me in jeopardy.
Yeah, if ever you are in that final Jeopardy, just remember who were the Stoics? I don't know, something like that. But my mom said, "Well said," to Tom. So I guess he must be doing something right. But Tom, remember, there's no money in philosophy. So
True.
so we gotta speak truth. But let's segue to this new magical world, and just to put a little bridge to that. I think the point is this idea of love what you do and be committed to it, and stay the course. When you are moving forward, and when your head is down, and when you have a full heart as opposed to a heavy heart, I think by definition worry is cast aside. But now you and I were spending a lot of time in this Web3 world, in this crypto world. Do you worry? Is there worry as far as you're concerned in terms of the price of Bitcoin, the future of this, the future of that? How do you view the whole space as an investor, as a writer, as a subject matter expert?
For sure. And I think the majority of the community shares that same sentiment, but to different degrees. My most popular articles on Medium are always Bitcoin is dead, or Bitcoin is objectively dead, and then taking like a twist on it and saying, hey, these are what all people are saying. And, of course, these things aren't true. But those articles get so much attention because I think people see it and they say, oh, my God, this guy who writes about cryptocurrency thinks it's dead. This has been the idea in the back of my head, for so long. So I think as in what the Stoics say is there's always an unconscious kind of worry that you have about things. And you're basically almost in kind of a meditative sense trying to get to a point where you're just, focused on the present moment. I think Sam Harris has really helped me learn that mostly, which is like, you have in conversations, you have thoughts always running. When I'm talking, I have things I'm thinking about, and you have things you're thinking about, but mostly we know we're in a connected spot when we can just, just kind of drop all that and just be, in here like it's a dance, basically.
Well, that and psychedelics, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to watch what you say in Oklahoma, but in Oregon, on the other hand, all bets are off.
Much different.
All bets are off. Yeah, but I was looking at your titles, and you're sneaky good at this, which is just little things like, now that crypto is objectively dead, right? This is the next big thing, or. Or how about this one? How to prepare for total economic collapse. 10 easy hints, 10 quick steps.
Yeah.
So what is that? It's a little bit of link baiting, but
yes, I know. And that's the thing is it's a fine balance, and I will take as much crap as I can in the comments. I know, I'll take it. I'll be like, hey, but my philosophy on it, and I don't know where I learned this from, and I don't know, I believe it to be true, is that if you have if content is, if there's still worthwhile content in the article, then I think it's worth it to go to whatever lengths you want, because the headline really is just salacious at the end of the day in general. Or whether you're going, I used to work for a subsector of USA Today, and the amount of times we used to just be talking about, okay, what is and we got more salacious as now the internet is getting more popular. We'd say, oh, well, geez, we can't use the old headlines we used to, or it's like, 5 women are like dead or in a car accident. It used to be like, big, like, oh my God, it'd be close to it. It really is riding a fine line now. You have to compete for so much attention that I swear to God, I'm just like, hey, the headlines are what they are, and people will complain about them. Don't just read the content. Tell me what you think about the content.
If you can't beat them, join them. Yeah, don't hate the play, hate the game. But I'll tell you, like, where I wholeheartedly support what you're saying is that if you're so lazy that all you read is a headline and you forward the article just because of a headline, and well, then serves you right if you end up with that screenshot in your presentation. And if the people are gullible and dumb enough to actually see that in a presentation and believe it, then you know what I mean. It's like it's judging a book by its cover, and so that's why when I went into it and I went deeper into the article, and we can certainly do that. That's when I knew I needed to have you on the show, not because of the headline, but the headline. I was like, wait a second, and immediately I knew that what I was going to see inside was going to be a kind of a rebuttal. I mean, it was fairly obvious to me.
Yeah, I think to me it's just my comedic instincts. I would say is I want to just do something to you that gets you a little pissed off, gets you a little from a headline perspective. I want something to be shock value, and I want to. And sometimes the headlines, they'll come out and they'll actually just be something complete normal. But there's always something, there's key features to it that need to be addressed. I think a lot of upcoming writers don't realize, especially since you're competing against the entire media industry. You're competing against still the legacy corporate media, who are, they're very much competitors. If you're a writer, if you're a podcaster, you have these. You're competing against the world. So it's like, learn your craft and do what you have to do.
So we're not heading for total economic collapse.
Well, it's tough to say. It's tough to say for sure. I'm as the word of the day, sanguine. I feel that but I do believe, especially polling and getting the temperature of Americans, it's just maybe, and it's not just Oklahoma. I have friends in New York that tell me the same thing. It's like nobody really is paying attention to the underpinnings of this Russian-Ukraine conflict and the effects it'll have on the supply chain and every economy across the world. So I do think it's already putting added pressure to an economy that's already on the ropes. So.
And you're referring to Russia's economy or the global economy,
referring to Russia's economy and part of the global economy. So, American inflation's already bad, but now if we have a huge supply chain issue with them being major exporters of oil, of wheat, of fertilizer, that it just adds a whole nother element to, what is going on here? What are we heading towards? And why are, the powers that be, even in the State of the Union, just saying, yeah, well, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. It's one of my favorite phrases, just everything's fine. It seems that's always, there's a great meme of the dog with the house on fire, where it's just like, it's just fine. So,
or as the British say, right, keep calm and carry on. Nothing to see here, get back into your vehicle. But I think it's important, the things that you raise and the recognition of this domino-like effect and domino. I mean, I'm on record saying that and I've been corrected, or at least I received a comment in my Discord server, which is not to say it's Russia versus the world. It's Putin against the world. This is someone who's from Russia. There is a strong belief right now that we need to differentiate and not just Russia, Russia, Russia. Ironically, we're saying Russia, Russia, Russia again. I'm just realizing that just now. But I'm going to have to think about that for a second. But there is this belief. I have a belief that in the court of public opinion, the will of the Ukrainian people, the sentiment of the Russian people, because the one thing you don't mess around with is sport. When you take away Champions League finals and kick Russia out of the World Cup, there's going to be a bloody coup, let me tell you. I believe it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. That's why I just want to keep stressing for, not to, as everyone keeps saying, all these great journalists, like, you don't want to put fear in people, but just saying, what is happening here, because Russia is a major country. And every time I have like one of those shower thoughts when I just think, they're like our rival, in a way. And if you remove them from the world entirely, which I don't know we're heading towards, but I don't know what happens after all this. Who's going to be the leader? How is Russia going to be, implemented back into FIFA, and how are they going to, not FIFA. I'm such an idiot with soccer, being an American, but just tons of different of different industries and, you know, opportunities. So it's just crazy to think about. And same thing with Ukraine, you know, what happens to them. So, and I get it. You have to live your life. You got to walk out and you still got to work and you got to worry about what you have to worry about. But this is going to have a lot of a huge impact on people's lives.
Well, thank goodness for crypto, I think, and crypto to the rescue. And I as we were chatting in the green room, and by the way, you see the logo above me right now is my coin, the Jaffe coin. It's like my moon and my sun. I really have gone deep down the rabbit hole in terms of this whole Web3 opportunity. I came across this video that actually Elon Musk tweeted out. I'm going to play the whole video. It's absolutely hysterical. But there's, as always in humor, in comedy, there is truth and there is a profound insight as well. So let's watch this. And then I would love to hear your thoughts on the video, but also your thoughts in general on this opportunity that crypto is not just bringing to the table, and Bitcoin in terms of a new distribution of power from a global economic standpoint, but even at the grassroots level, at the rock face, in terms of a redistribution, even potentially a narrowing of the wealth inequality gap. So we're going to go from ridiculous to sublime. Here is the ridiculous.
Redskins, dodo heads, tepid lemonade. Get out of it. Redskins, dodo heads, tepid lemonade.
Hey, mate, I'll take 5 of your Redskins and one of those tepid lemonades.
It's one chicken, mate. It's not a chicken.
No, that's much better than a chicken, my friend. That is gold.
What?
Gold. The currency of the future.
Great, come back in the future.
Redskins. But no, mate, I don't think you understand. This has unlimited use.
Can I eat it?
No.
Can I wear it?
No.
Can I use it as firewood?
No.
It's starting to sound pretty limited, mate.
But you can melt it and then turn it into whatever you want.
Can I turn it into food?
No, you can't eat it.
Is this going to take long?
Hold on your horses, mate. We are dealing in futures here.
Oh, what's that? Is that a rock?
No, worse. It's cold.
Oh, cold. How do I get some cold?
Gold. I have people mining for it.
Oh, you have people. La-dee-da. We got a rich one here, eh? What do you pay them with?
Gold.
Next.
No, they say that this currency could be worth 1,000 Ratskins, maybe even more, in just a few years.
Says who?
The people with gold.
Fuck. Next.
Look, every economy ever has been controlled by the big chicken banks.
Next.
And this is our opportunity to get out from under the big chicken boots,
Fuck me.
shake up the market, and start taking back our economic independence. Are you with me?
No.
Really? Come on, man. Look, all my mates are doing it.
I'll just get your hand off it, all right? Everyone's trying to predict the next alt rock. First it was stone, then bronze, then iron, now gold. What can I even do with this shiny shit? Make fucking jewelry out of it or something?
Yes, you can do that. Great idea, because it's malleable. And, best part of all, there's fuck all of it. It's a finite resource.
Mate, I'll tell you what a finite resource is. My fucking patience, all right? Now, piss off!
You know what? Stuff it. I'm taking it back. It's like talking to my dad.
Yeah. Why don't you go discover avocado and smash it on toast, you dickhead?
Yeah, maybe I will.
Sorry, mate.
I'll have a dodo head, thanks.
Half a chicken. Piss on me, not you two.
Oh, no. This is way better than gold. It's silver, or as I like to call it, light gold cash. It's faster to mine. It's
Got to be the last one, surely. Ratskins, dodo heads, very tepid lemonade. Get it here. Desert warm.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think? Isn't it great?
That was amazing. I don't think I've gotten a good laugh like that from a crypto related thing in a while.
I love it. And I'm also always happy to kind of take the piss out of ourselves in terms of
Yes.
some of the jokes because they're hysterical. By the way, Brian said, just swap out gold for Bitcoin. Brilliant. Probably nothing. And Glenn said, I love that. That's exactly the point. You watch it and you realize at the time, most likely when gold was introduced, it was probably met the exact literal same way. Maybe not rat skins and tepid lemonade, but with the equivalent of the day.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that I think a lot of people, they get worried that if Bitcoin came too early or too, in history, but I think it really is, especially with this crisis, it came at the right time, so obviously that guy had gold a little too early in history.
Yeah, and as for silver, I mean, silver's always in gold shadow. So, there you go. And but I see so much potential in terms of all, ownership. Even now, listening to the story of how money was raised for Ukraine and instantaneously it was transferred, through a wallet and was received immediately without fees, without maybe a little bit of gas, maybe not even. And I just think like this is a more efficient mechanism for sure. But of course, my worry is whenever the incumbency, whenever the establishment is threatened, that's when the threat, that's when the pushback, regulation, taxation, it's just inevitable. And yet, throughout all of that, we go back to being sanguine, which is the belief that good will always prevail, that right will always beat out wrong, that evolution is the most, objective, independent, and indiscriminate form of survival of the fittest. And it goes back to that video.
Yeah, it's so tough though, as you said, because being wrong has it doesn't have the same. I don't know if the word is bandwidth, but it's harder to meet resistance nowadays. So I do believe that Bitcoin, even though being a good solution, it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of regulations and a lot of whole kit and caboodle of things to happen to it. So, and I think regulations will be a good thing for sure. Just hopefully they're not draconian in the sense that, because even Vitalik Buterin, the creator of Ethereum, said there is a possibility for, regulators to severely marginalize cryptocurrency if they wanted to. I don't think they want to do that. And I constantly ask myself, what would it take for the American people to say, hey, you know what, and this isn't a call to revolution or anybody, but for them to be like, hey, what is going on here? But I do believe if they overplayed their hand, if the government said, "Hey, Bitcoin and Ethereum, get out of here," I do believe it. Hopefully or ostensibly, it would do something, for the American people, and they'd be fired up.
Well, he also said, Vitak, he also said that I think I read that he said he's Satoshi, and Bitcoin is crap. So. I'm convinced, Isaiah, that you might be Satoshi.
Hey, you never know. I mean, the only way I could tell you is the reason why it may or may not be true, leaning towards not, is I just don't, the technical ability. It's like every time I'd have interviews with people, especially technical-minded cryptocurrency people, they would just immediately be like, we know this guy's not writing smart contracts and all this other stuff. It's like I'm more of a literature-based person, not a math.
Well, sure. At least that's what you would like us to believe. But,
I won't say. That's why I said I won't go against it completely.
Yeah. So we'll just leave it hanging. Where do you see it all heading in the short, in the medium, in the long term? This whole, because you said something interesting about the price of being wrong. I even said it. I was. When we saw kind of, I don't know, the post NFT winter, even about I guess it was end of November, I was looking at all of this and I was thinking, what if we're wrong? What if it all goes to zero? Yeah. Do you ever wonder if all of this, if we're wrong, if this is going to be nothing but a blip or a red herring? And if so, then what is the solution?
Yeah, I know a lot of people have said, is it just a fad or NFT is a fad? And, sometimes the crypto is dead people, I would say, like a lot, it's a very powerful argument, when they get down to a lot of their points. My reasoning, though, is that I just don't see it ever. I do feel it is like a genie out of the magic lamp kind of solution, where the people that say, oh, it's going to zero, I really don't understand them at all, just in the sense where, well, there aren't a tremendous amount of people that do think this is a good idea. And Satoshi himself, the creator of Bitcoin, did say if enough people did catch on to this idea, it would be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I know people will say, oh, but that means it's a pyramid scheme. It's like, look at the US dollar. Everybody has to buy into something and it has to grow. That's just how everything works. So I do believe that the genie, like I said, the genie's out of the bottle. I don't, old man yells at Bitcoin. It is hard explaining it to another generation of people, but another great saying I heard from Naval Ravikant. Oh, sorry about that. I'm in this the Oklahoma truckers, if the sound's coming in more so. But another great saying by Naval Ravikant is essentially this generation rejects the previous generation's Ponzi scheme, essentially. And then you basically go off, you just go there, and it's like every generation has their own system of, hey, this is it, this is the new system now. And I get it, it's crazy, I get it, NFTs are crazy, cryptocurrency is insane, like we just had with the gold. It's just like there's a point where it's all ludicrousy, and then it comes back around to, okay, this is it.
So what was last generation's Ponzi scheme? I guess that was probably the derivative swaps and the stuff that that landed us in in the whole credit crisis and mortgage meltdown.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because not in the sense that just a lot of people lost their jobs and their means of living, but also because a lot of these opportunities are only available for certain sector of people. So people are able to just make the money, abandon it, and go. And I'm not saying that Bitcoin in that sense is something like that, but it's an opportunity that's available for everybody for the first time. And maybe, I don't know, just like it's very, very long. You have to go back very, very far in history to maybe the beginnings of gold, and look at gold now compared to just the institution it's going against. It just doesn't hold up as well. Because, as much as I love gold bugs like Peter Schiff, it's like the U.S. economy might not be backed by anything, but it's backed by the government and the military. And that's enough, that's enough for it to be around. So you just need to I think what Satoshi did was he competed. He used capitalism almost to its like the greatest advantage, where he said, I'm just going to make a better product then, and let people then decide and say, oh, wow, we can just pick between the two now. And I think that's the point we're at.
And it's an interesting, by the way, good on Glenn. He said Tupperware. So that was last generation's Ponzi scheme. Or Avon, but Avon's still around, but I suppose so is Tupperware.
Maybe those baseball cards.
Yeah, well, and now that's called NFT, so watch out. Yeah, but I think that's a great insight to kind of wrap things up and realize that this is all, this is ultra, right? This is the 30 miles in 4 hours. We keep running. We dive into the water at the end of it, but hopefully that's not the end. That's just a stepping stone onto whatever the next thing is. And we welcome you back to NYC.
Can't wait.
I will not be running with you, but considering I'm in Connecticut, hopefully we can meet for a drink or a cup of coffee in real life.
Oh, we have to, for sure. And I can't promise that I'll go run over there because I think that's still at my limits.
I will not hold you to it. If you want to follow Isaiah, you can do that either on Instagram or on Twitter. You can subscribe to his blog on Medium, and there is the URL. And also a little bit of alpha, which is he has a new book coming out called Gold 2.0, Opening the Vault to the Secrets of Cryptocurrency. And the best way to get a fast track on the book is subscribe to his blog and hang out with him on the internets. How about that?
Yeah. Hey, couldn't have said it better myself, you know? Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Joseph. This has been an amazing time. Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm sure that I hope the not famous part goes away and you just take it in a totally, braggadocious way and just say Joseph Jaffe is famous.
You know that the idea though is that the more not famous I become, or the more famous I become, the more not famous I shall protest. So that is a good problem to have. But at its heart, the essence of the show is really about my guest and about my audience and my community. And I really, really mean that. So I have one more surprise for you at the end, but I haven't left you with the quote. I always find a quote. The quote comes back to the word sanguine or sanguine. And I love this. His sanguine spirit turns every firefly into a star. And this was Arthur Conan Doyle. And I think maybe during tough times, the ability to be optimistic in pessimistic times, to be pragmatic, to be sanguine is the ability to turn the smallest firefly into the largest, most powerful star.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to remember that one every time I use this word from now on.
And I'll tell you who else will remember it, of course, is Chuck Norris. And here's what he had to say about you and about today's episode.
You are Chuck Norris approved.
And I will be back tomorrow with the Girlies NFT. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing with your host, multiple author, and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show, and if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.